Well, this is the thing about you that's funny as hell, and I know it's sport for you to watch me squirm.
It is.
But this speaks to what we're saying is that you will do those jokes, and you don't give a fuck what people think of you. It's the funny.
Right.
I love it that every time we go in the bathroom together, which is already uncomfortable, you'll be in a stall and you'll yell something like, is there supposed to be blood? And you're not embarrassed, but I am for you.
That's the key, not being embarrassed.
Yeah, I don't know how that
You're never
works.
going to see any. What are the odds that you're going to know somebody in that bathroom and going to go, oh, who cares? Well, literally, who cares? I'm screaming in a public bathroom. Yes, because I'm bored. I'm just enjoying the day.
I think that's something to uncover, is why do you feel that that's the place where you must do your comedy?
Mark, we're entertainers.
That's right. Okay.
Make the magic,
It's
Mark.
happening.
Make it happen.
Make the magic
America
happen.
needs this.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mark Wahlberg. Welcome to Bonfire Talks with me and my
Just say it. Just use the word.
my somewhat permanent sidekick, Mark DeCarlo, joins me again. You don't know, but the last few episodes I've been doing it with Goldie because she's great.
And beautiful and
And
smart.
beautiful and smart. And
I could dance circles around her, though, by the way.
But she's doing a Nutcracker, so she's back dancing professionally for the first time in 5 years. So her feet are bleeding and she's going crazy. But that's awesome. It's really amazing because what it is, and we talked about it, I think, here, is that, being a ballet dancer professionally can be really toxic, and she quit for that reason. She was like, it's not worth it, they don't pay me enough, it's terrible. But now, 5 years later, she's taking dance again. She's still teaching, that's her job, and now she's going to do this Nutcracker, but she said it's the greatest thing in the world to go into rehearsals and auditions and stuff and have no stake. It doesn't matter. It's just for fun. Right. So it's a real lesson in kind of taking back something you're passionate about on your own terms and reframing it.
Which is how you should approach it all the time anyway.
Well,
right?
She talks about that. It's like, we get hooked into trying to please the artistic director, or in case of people who aren't dancers, your boss or whatever, instead of doing work because you want to do the work. So, or
stressing that you need the money to do. You got to get this job today, or your life's over.
And so I'm really proud of her. She's really amazing in her work she's been doing to become a real person. And so it's fun. I always say that, as a parent, you teach your kids while they're growing up, but then they grow up, you become the student when they start to actualize all the lessons you were just fucking saying because you thought they were smart. Mm-hmm. So she's doing her thing. And
that's great.
So both kids are great. I got Morgan and Carissa living in California. They have this huge dog you've never met, I don't think.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, Merle, as in Merle Haggard.
Of course.
He's half Australian Shepherd and half Irish Wolfhound, and they've been hanging out at our house a lot. So between my two dogs and their dog, it's like when they wrestle, the furniture is moving out of the way. So it's a double-edged sword. Like, we're thrilled to have them around, but it's kind of like, wow, it's a lot. So it's been busy at my house, man.
You're moving into the next phase of parenting.
Yes.
The nutcracking phase.
The nutcracking phase. That's right. No grandchildren yet. None on the horizon. But whatever. I told them both. I said, look, I'm going to give you 6 months, and then I'm going to start poking holes in condoms, and hopefully you make a mistake, and I get to. I told them both. I said, you can have a kid, go through the 9 months, have the baby, and then just ship them to me. I'll raise the fucking kid. I didn't get it right the first time. I think I can do better this time.
Right.
So just send me your kid.
Because you have more energy and more patience at this age
exactly.
than
I did when
25.
Yeah.
Smart move.
I also had to confess to both of them that I did all of my parenting high as fuck because weed was the only way I could get through parenting. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel bad about that.
You shouldn't.
As a matter of fact, I'm an advocate for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm not smoking weed hardly at all.
You doing gummies?
No, nothing. I just
You're
lost
weed
interest.
free?
Pretty weed free. Just really not so interested.
Why? Why the change?
I think, life has been lifing pretty hard. And so, I don't have anxiety per se, but I've been a little bit torqued, which I can't imagine you can. I know that's so hard for you to.
Like Eskimos have 1,000 words for snow. Yeah. You've got 1,000 different words for anxiety.
Yes.
Because using the word anxiety, it actually makes them anxious.
Well, that's clinical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I could just say I'm feeling
Spilkus?
Spilkus, whatever. Right. I love it when you
I'm a little gegechen.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So, but I've kind of lost interest in that. So, but that's been great. Also, Goldie introduced the concept. Morgan had actually introduced it to me, and I didn't listen. But Goldie introduced the concept of a winter arc. You familiar with winter arcing?
No.
It's kind of like you use this time right now to reassess who you want to be and what you want to do, and kind of it's basically
hibernation. You come out in spring as a new butterfly,
or to do things to better your life now instead of waiting for a New Year's resolution. So she's doing a lot, and so I've been going to the gym because we're both on injured reserve, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
You took off your sling.
I did.
You don't have to do that for show
well, you're not
business.
supposed to wear it all day long. I had shoulder surgery, and that's my winter arc. Is I gotta get my shoulder back
and my hips out, so I can't play basketball or do anything. So I've been going to the gym and lifting weights and doing that whole thing, and that's something I want to talk to you about. When was the last time you went to just a gym?
Well, I was doing Club Pilates before COVID. Then they shut down. Then we bought a Pilates machine. We have it in the house. That's all the exercise I think I'm going to need the rest of my life.
But I'm talking about
and I have the Bowflex dumbbells, the variable dumbbells.
Yes.
But the last time I've been to a gym,
years.
The only reason you go to a gym is to meet girls.
Yeah. So no.
I mean.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean. Yeah. How's that worked out for you, by the way? So I've been going to the gym, just a gym. And apparently the entire gym etiquette has changed since the last time I went.
Oh, really? How so?
It used to be like if you go up to a machine that you want to use and somebody's on it, you go, hey, can I work in with you? And we swap out sets. Mm-hmm. Not the case. I sat, and Morgan kind of set me straight because he's a gym rat right now. He's in great shape. And I watched this guy.
I want to get the Morgan calendar. Does he do like a Speedo calendar every year?
No, but I'll suggest it.
Yeah.
And that you want my son's Speedo calendar is something I don't feel comfortable discussing on this podcast. But I mean,
that was serious.
I hope that you feel seen.
Yeah, I do.
And there's no judgment.
And I'd like it one of those 14-monthers so that you get like an extra 2-month grace period to buy a new calendar.
Sure.
Remember
I just buy it.
Used to do
I
that.
just buy it for the Christmas one because,
Sure, take all the holidays.
Yeah. Let me just appropriate your religion as best I can.
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy's on the machine, and I'm waiting for it, and I'm standing in front of him. He sees me, and he literally is sitting there on his phone for 3 minutes, easily. And then he finally looks up, and I kind of am still the old school guy going, hey, can I work in? And he's like, yeah, and I said, okay. And then he proceeds to do 5 sets with 2 minutes in between before he gets up and lets me do it. So I'm furious, and I tell Morgan about it. He says, no, that's the way it goes. And you can't talk to, and I get this, you can't talk to any women in the gym. Don't talk to them at all. And I get that.
You know what? I don't.
I had a feeling you would.
I don't. You can't talk. There's a law you can't talk to them. You shouldn't be able to bother them.
Well,
but why can't you sub it? Why can't you work in a set with a woman too? You want,
if invited. But I think what I'm more sensitive to, you're not wrong. But what I'm more sensitive to is that there have been decades of predatory behavior by men, and the gym is a hotbed of that.
Right.
Couple that with what women wear to work out, I used to tip them to wear that.
Right.
But so,
all right, well, just stop it right there. If you're a gorgeous woman and you don't want to be bothered at the gym, you know what I wear when I go to the gym? I just wear like a shitty T-shirt and shitty shorts.
Well, because,
and I go and I do my thing. I got my headphones on.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you shouldn't be hitting on girls at the gym, but the guy with the phone, there's just, it seems there used to be like a social lubrication. People had manners and were cognizant of other people's just courtesy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To sit there on the phone
and
stare at you while you're waiting. I mean, that's just rude. I don't care if it's still rude.
No, you're right. So that was a change that I found in that environment.
Was he bigger than you or littler
No.
than you?
As a matter of fact, I looked at him.
Could you have beaten him up is my question.
Yes, I could have.
And you should have.
And I wanted to.
You should have.
Especially since he was on a leg machine and he had sticks. So I'm like, I can outrun him or beat him up. I'm like, maybe you should do some more sets.
Just wait till he's all done and really tired, and then beat him up.
And then I was getting shitty. I'm like, you can move that thing to where there's weight on this.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
Then I worked out with Morgan.
Yeah.
Most humbling experience of my life.
I bet.
He was just like every plate, just gigantic.
Have people on this show seen Morgan?
No, Morgan hasn't come on the show. He won't come on the show.
He blocks out the sun.
He blocks.
I don't know how.
That came out of us?
Yes, I don't. Robbie's little. You're not a big strapping hillbilly. I don't get it.
I'm a skinny little hillbilly.
Yeah, you are. You are pretty hillbilly.
I have some hillbilly
You're way more of a
tendencies.
hillbilly than people know.
I think that's true. I think that's very true.
Right.
So I went with him, and he was like, let's do 7 sets of this. And I'm like, Morgan, I just want to do like the 3 things, do my 3 sets.
Go to the juice bar and talk to guys. That's all.
That's it. Not girls. But then there's that double standard. So I can't,
You can't walk up to a woman and say, hey, can I work in with you?
I mean, I'm just saying in general, I'm very aware that, women have the right to work out in this gym without being hit on every minute or having male gaze all over them all the time.
Agreed. I don't think they have the right to work out in the gym and not be spoken to.
I don't think that's the rule. I think you can speak to them, but
the
default move is just give a wide berth. Give a wide berth.
Stance, especially if you're spotting them on the bench, right?
There's none of that with your balls hanging over their head while you're like, come on, push, baby, or that's a good girl. It's like those days I think.
You're going to lift all of that? Oh, my.
Oh, you're a strong one. Yeah, no, I think there's some value in us resetting as men. I think there's a lot of value in us resetting as men.
Refining as opposed to resetting. Resetting assumes that everything you've been doing up to this point is wrong, which I don't.
I don't think that anything necessarily that you or I have done is horribly wrong, except for systemic things that we did that didn't seem wrong that we now know are. But my stance is if you need a little more grace and space here because of men in the past. You know what? Here's the thing. Can I just be straight with this? I'm waiting for a gay joke. No?
No, I'm better than that, Mark.
Wow. I'm impressed. You lost my entire train of thought.
That is so gay.
I think that I think that it's a good time to reset as men. Oh, here's what I was going to say is that in the work that I've done on television, because I'm a big basic cable celebrity.
That is the rumor.
That is the rumor, which is fading rapidly, is that 95% of the young women I talk to have an episode of either assault or harassment of some sort, if not rape. Right? So this is a fact. I mean, you can deny it all you want, but women of a certain age, if you ask them, all of them have a story of men, at the very least, harassing.
Okay, is that because the definition of harassing me has been so diluted that just looking at me like that, now I'm going to say that that's harassment?
No.
Or are people actually getting harassed?
No, the stories I've heard are unlike our existence, okay?
Because, I mean, I don't hang around with guys that cheat on their wives and harass women. I've known you forever. We talk to girls all the time, but it's not harassment. We're just talking. They're people.
Well, first of all, the definition of what is and what isn't, I have space for. Because the example I give is that back in the day, you'd be in the makeup room and all the makeup artists are gorgeous and it's really flirty and fun and silly, and everybody's down.
Mm-hmm.
But I've come to believe that consciously or subconsciously, those women are playing the game because their job depends on it, right? And I can't deny that the women I talk to that are my daughter's age and younger all seem to have stories that are horrible of what men have done. Take that out of the equation. Those are the extremes, but I'm telling you it's not extreme. It's the norm. Then there's all the women who may not have that experience, but have at least had the experience of being less than or talked down to or seen differently because they're women. And that we as men, even men like us who aren't, who are pretty responsible with our relationship with other women. We're not predatory in that sense. I think we have to bear a little bit of the weight of the past. And that adjustment...
I agree.
It's not that big of a thing to ask.
I mean, it all. To what degree? I think, there's. Look at this last election. What the stuff that you're talking about turned the election because
That's right.
The Republicans were able to weaponize the pussification of men, and the world's coming after you, man. You better stand up for yourself.
Okay,
I don't find that to be true, but enough people did.
Yeah, well, there's that, and I refuse to talk about the politics of it here because
there's no
two
way
reasons.
To win. Yeah.
There's not a win for me, and secondly, it makes me too upset. And so I'm trying to just avoid.
Well, I get it, and I also get the whole BIPOC thing. When we were 20 years old, coming up hosting TV shows, you go to an audition, there'd be one black guy, maybe. Now, was that because there weren't other talented black dudes that wanted to be hosts? Maybe. It's probably because the people that were hiring us were all 50-year-old white dudes.
Right.
Now, it's completely reversed.
Right, and my take
and
on...
to that, I'm like, okay, I had, I was in the game, I had it, I get it.
My stock line is we've had 400 years of a run, and it's okay.
We happen to be sitting here now when it's swinging back the other way.
Yeah.
So be it. I understand it. I'm not bitter about that. As long as you're good, you get, we audition, you get the job. As long as you're good, God love you. If you got the job because of some other check mark box and you're awful, that ultimately is going to cause the production to fail.
Yeah.
You're going to blow a lot of money, and eventually the pendulum will swing back towards, Hollywood has never been a complete meritocracy. It should be, but it never has been.
No. And by the way, on a different note, but somewhat in the same vein,
yes,
I went to do ADR. For those of you who don't know what it is,
it's like
Mark
you
can
press, blow. You do it on the dummy?
That's right. To staying alive.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. ADR. ADR is when you're doing a TV show and maybe some audio, some of the sound.
You know what it stands for?
Automatic dialogue replacement.
Additional dialogue replacement.
Sorry. I knew I would get that wrong.
You're close.
Anyway, so it's pretty common that when you do a show, there's a plane flies by or something and a piece of audio isn't good, and you go back in the studio, you record what you were saying again or some version of what you're saying to fit where it was, to match the lip flap of what you said,
right? And
then they mix it to make it sound as good as possible. But one of the banes of my existence in my whole career, which I think is fair to say is illustrious. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It's an illustrious bane.
Yeah. Illustrious bane, which is what you call him.
That's what Robbie calls it.
What Yeti calls it?
¿Dónde illustrious
¿Dónde está los Bane de Illustrioso? Hate mail will be coming now. But one of the things I've hated about that is that as a host or on-camera personality, that when they do the loop or the ADR and they put it in, you can hear that it's an ADR. Yeah. More often than not, and that makes me feel like the audience is going, well, he fucked it up in the field, and they just said it. And you see that with some of the hosts and others have worked who aren't good, that after they tape the show and they realize they can't use half the shit, they replace it with audio and they take close-up shots of other people.
Right, they'll cut away. They won't even try and lip sync it with the person.
Right, they just cut away. And so I've always been sensitive that I don't want to look like a tool more than I already do on my own because of the ADR. Well, I go in to do ADR the other day for this show that I taped. I taped a television show.
You did?
I did.
Was tape rolling?
Tape was rolling.
One of my favorite jokes.
This is my favorite joke. I used to be a warm-up guy, Galen, and this was the kind of comedy I would bring. Mm-hmm. I would take a roll of tape and roll it across the floor and go, shh, tape is rolling. To thunderous applause.
And I would laugh every time.
I can't understand why I'm not working.
I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. So anyway, I go to do ADR, and they ask me, first of all, they're playing back track in my head of me speaking that I'm replacing. And only after the session did they tell me that wasn't me, but that was AI of me. and I couldn't tell. Wow. And they were asking my permission to sign to let them create ADR lines from AI.
Don't do it.
I said no.
Good.
Well, I said yes with guardrails. So the guardrails being the only ADR I'll do is replacing, is to allow the AI to sweeten what I'm doing that was already there. But it's the beginning of the end, man. Like, I don't think I'll ever go in and do another ADR session. I don't think they'll need it. And it's only a matter. Remember when we were doing Smartass, this game show that Mark and I created, where Mark was an animated host in real time. And we went and met with all these companies that create these characters, and one of them said, we look forward to the day where we're creating synthespians for acting. And we thought to ourselves, this is just creepy shit. Well, it's happening. It's 100%
it's already happened.
Happened. And so I thought that was kind of interesting that.
I don't know how people that are young and getting into the acting business are going to make a living. I mean, typically you make a living from your sessions,
right,
and your residuals,
right,
and nothing has residuals now.
Right.
The streaming, anything on a streaming service, you don't get residuals. I'm still getting paid for a Seinfeld I did in 1991 or 92.
Yeah.
I get a lot of checks every year, and that's a significant part of income for most working actors. And that's, if you're 20, that's gone.
Yeah, I don't have that. It's just all of my stuff I don't get residuals.
You have to be on popular shows.
I think now is a good time for me to tell you guys that if you are in the LA area and you need a ride, I'm a 5-star Uber driver and would be happy to come and pick you up.
No drinking or smoking in the car.
Please, no. But I always provide mints and free water, and a charging cable. That's how
we're going to do an Uber show together?
I think we talked about it. I wanted to talk to you about a show idea that we had that I think its time may come back, and if there's a way for us to do it just like on a YouTube level.
Okay.
We had this show. Let's see if anybody responds to this pitch. It was called United States of America.
That was a good one.
It was a good one where you and I would be on a bus. So this is the concept, Kalen. Mm-hmm. It's a game show, but it happens live on Friday night on TV, right? And the winner, it's a hometown. We spend the first week while we're in the town coming up on people in the street and kind of having these impromptu auditions and select the contestants that will then show up for the live show at the end of the week.
Come on down!
Right. And they come and we play, and whoever wins is the hometown hero, and they've won, and then they get on the bus with us to go to the next city, and then we do it again, but then they come in the final round to compete to see if they win, and it's we keep doing this across the country, and then finally there's a winner. I think there's something in that. I think we should revisit it.
I think so, too. It could bring, the country's very divided right now. We got to do something fun that kind of brings everybody back to the.
And that's why I love game shows. Is that it's
drama.
But it's what makes game shows fun is the hope that your life will be better by winning something. That you get to play a game that doesn't matter and you can win stuff and your life is better because of it.
I'm living proof.
Yes, you are. You don't know this, Kalen. Mark's entire career is based on the gap year he was able to afford himself because he went on as an alternate, I think, originally, right?
I sat for like 3 days,
he
15 episodes.
Alternate contestant for Sale of the Century, which was an old game show. And then he went on and ran the board.
Wow.
125,000?
11 days in a row. I had literally just graduated from college from UCLA 2 months before. So I had a big pile of money, and I told my parents I'm going to try this acting thing.
And they were thrilled about that.
Well, you know what? They were cool with it. And going back to what we were saying before, I had no pressure. I'd go into, all my other friends were working as waiters or whatever, and they'd go in the audition. They needed the money to pay rent. My rent was paid for the next 3 years.
Right.
I could just go in, do my deal, and leave. And I just started booking left and right because I wasn't desperate, I think. And, of course, incredibly talented.
Incredibly talented. And even if you weren't talented, I mean, look at all this.
It doesn't just happen, Mark.
No, it doesn't happen. Some of it is just genetic.
It's been 2 weeks. I haven't skated in 2 weeks. This is the longest time I haven't exercised probably in my adult life.
I was thinking about this.
Driving me crazy.
About you. You just had shoulder surgery. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know Mark's every week, and that's something else I wanted to ask you about. That the number of intramural sports, beer league level sports that you play in a week is just unhealthy.
No, it's not. It's very healthy.
Yeah.
I play softball once or twice a week, and I play hockey 3 times a week, ice hockey. And then I do Pilates on other days.
And how's your marriage?
I haven't seen her in a while. We both have our own like little things that we do. Listen, my maternal grandfather lived to be 90. He was healthy until a week before he died.
Yeah.
I've seen other old people, they stop exercising and they get healthy. They don't live a good life. I want to be able to be walking around Europe when I'm 90.
Yeah. Because that's where you live because it's not safe to live here anymore?
Possibly.
Got it.
Possibly. Well, you just do dumb intramural sports.
I do.
You do basketball, which is, stupid. Because
it's stupid on a couple levels. It's stupid because at my age and my body and my size and all that, it's really hard on my body and all of that. But the other side of it is I'm also not good at it.
Well, but there have been so many great Jewish basketball players.
The pamphlet circled around everywhere.
It's written on a bar napkin.
All 5 of those great Jewish athletes are written on some yeshiva somewhere. Pounding.
Look, your impact. When I had my first knee surgery, the doctor said stop jogging and running, so I took up skating, and that's how I got to hockey. And there's no impact on your knees when you're skating.
One of the worst days of my athletic career was the day you invited me to play hockey with you and your team.
Oh my God, that was funny.
And which is awesome, except I don't skate hardly at all.
Which is a big impediment to playing hockey.
I would say.
Yeah.
Hockey is the only sport where you have to learn a sport before you can play the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was going to throw up. I've never been so exhausted and so frustrated because as a basketball player, hockey's similar in the triangulation and how you play the game.
Same geometry, really.
Right, and I knew where I needed to be, and I'm Fred Flintstone with the car just trying to get there. It was fucking horrible.
If you skate 3 times a week for 2 months, you'll be good.
Okay.
And it's great. It's great exercise, fun guys, very healthy. Paul LaGuarre is a legend here in Southern California. The guy's 96 years old. He played ice hockey till he was 90. Wow. And then I retire now.
So this is what I thought about this morning. I wanted to talk to you about because, and this is a crazy segue out of hockey, but one of the things Mark is famous for is you're a customizer. Mm-hmm. You don't buy anything off the shelf that you don't personally, and this says a lot about how you feel about you, that you don't think needs to be zhuzhed up or re-engineered to be more efficient. So you created the DeCarlo 5000.
Well, the 3000.
3000
was the 3700, which never got out of R&D.
Yeah.
But the 5000 is where it's at now.
Yeah, which is basically a series of PVC.
Here's the problem, Mark. When you play hockey, you get really sweaty.
Okay.
And all of your equipment gets super sweaty.
Sharks, I'm looking for.
And the smell is just awful. When you open your garage, it's like a badger died in your butthole.
I'm looking for $1 million for 10% of my.
So what I did is I figured out a way to hang up my gloves, my shoulder pads, my elbow pads, my knee pads, my pants, everything on a rack, and then I have a giant fan that's on a timer above it that blows air across it and dries it, kills the bacteria, kills the smell. Nothing worse than going in and putting your hands in wet gloves the day after you left your shit in your bag. It's no good. The DeCarlo 5000, now it's in every hockey locker room in the world. But I'm
investors,
pretty sure I invented
possibly you.
Right. We have really cool T-shirts.
Yeah.
DeCarlo 5000. Give me a blow is what it says.
Nice. I like that. I like that a lot. And there are attachments, I'm sure, for other purposes. Uh-huh. So my question to you is, in your, again, illustrious Bane career, what other inventions have you had in your brain that have either come to fruition or should come to fruition?
Well, I got one of those bar shuffleboard games, table games, the big nice ones from a bar.
Oh, I'm aware because I beat you on it.
You did once.
Yeah.
And we have an outdoor deck, and you can't leave that thing outside because it's all wood and everything. So I helped my friend Jason engineer a cart with wheels so that while you're playing it, it's out in the nice
play area.
And then when you're done playing it, you put it away. Not only do you put it away, I have a wooden top to keep the stuff that you put on it to make it slidey in place.
It's called sand.
Then a giant blanket to keep the temperature from varying too quickly, and then
So you can actually leave cigars in it as well.
and then a waterproof cover so that the moisture and the temperature fluctuation on a daily cycle basis does not warp the wood, because if that table gets warped, it's completely ruined.
Yeah, you're right. So that's one invention that you have actualized.
Yes.
Any others?
Well, we have all the lights on a system in the house. I can turn off. I can do it right now, and Yenny would freak out. I can make the lights go on and off. She doesn't know.
That kind of would be fun.
It would be. I've done it
Although
before.
you didn't invent that. That exists. You just are using it. You did invent some elaborate irrigation system.
Which was used at Wahlberg Farms, I believe.
I believe a version of DeCarlo ingenuity is at Wahlberg
Right.
Farms.
Yeah, I have it on timers and snaking around, lighting systems.
So here's my invention I had when I was in high school that never came to be, and I don't think I missed $1 million on this one. Ready? Mm-hmm. I was staying with my uncle at a timeshare at the beach, and you go to the pool, you go to the beach, and you want to have a floaty or something, a raft to float on. And I thought, here's the invention. I'm embarrassed to even tell you now. The shower curtain is actually a deflated pool raft that you unzip and take down to the pool and inflate, and then you come back and you can hang it back up, zip it back up, and then hose it down from the shower and use that as shower curtain / pool toy.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
The functionality is kind of cumbersome. You're going to blow it up every time you want to go to the beach.
And then if anybody wants to take a shower while you're at the beach,
right,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's not necessary.
Correct.
Since you can buy one for $9.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So
you could also do that with bed clothes. Yenny's always cold. I'm always hot. So we were noodling around with a blanket that would be...
Did you say bedclothes as opposed to linens?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, what it was like
covers.
Victorian era?
Yes.
You sleep in a nightshirt?
I do.
And a cap?
There's got to be a way to have a blanket where it keeps you hot on one side.
A chamber pot next to your bed?
Well, now I get up for some reason, the drugs I'm on for this thing, I can't sleep more than like 90 minutes. So I get up in the middle of the night, and I'll take a leak and come back to bed. And just because of the geometry of the bathroom, I can't flush the toilet, and it's the middle of the night, so I don't flush it until the morning, and she gets all weirded out. I'm like, it's urine. Yeah. We're in a drought. What's the big deal?
If it's yellow, let it mellow.
Thank you.
If it's brown,
they don't
flush it down.
They don't have droughts in Cuba, or they didn't when she was there.
No. All right. So...
That's not bad. I mean, it's not a great idea, Mark. Keep working.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of other ideas.
You know what I do when we're out and I'm just talking trash to strangers?
Oh, I have another business idea. I think I pitched it here before. It's rent a grandpa or rent an uncle.
Oh.
So you're at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. You're a young family.
You are.
You've got a baby or a almost toddler age, but high chair level, and you can't eat. So... You know how in casinos you can pay like by the minute to have a massage? Mm-hmm. You can also pay for other things by the hour normally. But I said, what about if I wander around the restaurant and I'll just hold your baby so you can eat? And
I can't see any legal problems with that at all.
Nor does that sound at all creepy when I pitch it.
Not at all.
Yeah. Those are my big ideas. That's what I got. I mean... my heart was in the right place.
It really was.
Yeah.
I forgot
Your Honor.
I forgot my invention that I was going to tell you about.
The bedclothes one?
No, I said that one. That never got off the ground. But the DeCarlo 5000's been working for thousands, for hundreds.
Yes.
At least 7 years.
Many satisfied customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they use it in NHL locker rooms, Mark.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, and you're like Edison gets credit for the light bulb. You're Tesla.
I'm Farnsworth.
Yeah, you're Farnsworth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't know who Farnsworth is? That's my point.
That's the point. No one knows who he is.
Philo T. Farnsworth.
Is he the first light bulb guy?
No, he was the TV guy. And then he invented the cathode ray tube, supposedly.
Yes.
And then he got rolled by RCA, and RCA basically took his idea and took his patents and screwed him, and he died penniless.
And that's what happened to the DeCarlo 5000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a pet sitter. That was my other idea.
Yeah. Okay.
A thing that you put treats in, and every 2 hours it'd go, "Hey, buddy, come here, buddy," and
It exists.
I know now it does. This was like 20 years ago. I thought
You are a unappreciated genius.
I'm always ahead of my time.
That's true.
Way ahead.
Way ahead.
Way
Millennia ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You prepare so assiduously for these podcasts.
I really do, Mark. It's an avocation for me.
It is.
You know, I feel like.
Are you getting a lot of feedback from America?
Yeah, my listener checks in quite regularly, whose last name is Wahlberg, and maybe me. Yeah, that's working out pretty good for me. So I got that going. A lot of time on my hands. This is something I've been grappling with, and to switch over into the sort of mindfulness and wellness standpoint is how difficult it can be when nothing is going on and you're restless and you forget to trust the fact that the space, the quiet time, might be serving a purpose for things to come that you don't know.
Always.
Sitting in that is uncomfortable for me because I feel like I need to be proactive, to be doing something instead of going, I'm being afforded this time where I don't have to do anything. I can just do what I want, and but not worry about.
Yes. Well, that is one of the hallmarks of this profession that we have chosen.
Yes.
That they don't really tell you going in. Like if I knew that 95% of my time would be chasing work and 5% would be doing the work,
right,
it alters the way I would have thought about it. But now, if nothing's going to happen in Hollywood now between now and Martin Luther King Day, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm writing material, and I chose to have my shoulder surgery 2 days after the softball season concluded.
Well,
because it's a quiet time of year, but you have to seize that time and do something productive with it. Even if that production, if that is just sitting around doing nothing, that can be productive for your mental health. For me, I'm going to learn to play ping pong left-handed. You'd come over every day. We could play ping pong. We could play shuffleboard.
What I like is that you're applying yourself with skills that you may need in the future.
Right.
Because
everyone needs to be a left-handed ping pong player.
I think the left-handed ping pong track is a growth industry.
Yeah.
I really think there's going to be a need in our society for left-handed ping pong.
Well, we got a new ping pong table. Yenny got me a machine that spits the ping pong balls at you and a little net. Because this is a long 6 months before I can even do PT.
You've become Forrest Gump.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Lefty, though.
Lefty.
Everything, just going to the bathroom is difficult, lefty. Have you ever been messed up?
No, I haven't had arm stuff. No.
It's thank God we have a bidet.
The greatest thing ever. I was so resistant. Have you ever used a bidet?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't either, but he talked me into it.
And then once you do, you can't travel.
Right.
Then you go into a
ruined.
hotel room, and you're like, what are we,
Butt's
animals?
dry.
I'm going to just wipe, and we're going to consider that clean?
My butt's dry. I don't like it.
Yeah, so we got, Gary gave us one, and I was really against it for like 6 months. I wouldn't use it. It felt invasive, and it felt like it was,
One.
Yeah, it's a
First
slippery
step
slope.
down that road.
Literally a slippery slope.
That's actually the brand name, isn't it?
I think
Slippery
so.
Slope?
Slippery Slope 1000. Heated.
That would be a great name. We aim it right down the crack, clean you up real good.
Yeah.
Slippery Slope 9000.
Yeah. Is your slope gritty? Does it need to be slippery?
Well, so what are you doing to fill your time in this fallow period?
Planted a winter garden, built fences and all that. You saw that in the backyard. I built all that
real
stuff.
Good.
Now I've got this problem.
Oh boy.
Goldie's coming home for Christmas with her boyfriend, who we love, Tucker, that I call Tuck Tuck Goose.
I'm sure he loves that.
He does love that, but it's my little passive-aggressive way to remind him I'm the dad. But they're coming home, right? Now,
Do they sleep in the same bedroom in your house?
they're living together.
That's not the question I asked you, Mark.
Yes.
Do you allow them to sleep in the same bedroom in your home?
Well, as long as they wear...
It's a yes or no
As
question.
long as they wear appropriate bedclothes, sir, sire. I mean, what century are you in?
All right, I'm just asking.
She's 29. What am I going to pretend that they don't have sex?
Ah!
I know. It's a little gross.
I never stayed with a girlfriend in the same bedroom in my parents' house ever.
Because did you have one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
All
they'd
right.
come
'Cause
over.
you've shared you in the
Same
earlier
one never
years.
came over twice, but
Yeah, right. You never got a call back.
never. No, I would just feel weird.
That was before your illustrious Bane years.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, I get the facade of that. But, I mean, they live together. She's grown. It's a thing. It's not even a conversation. The problem I'm having is that whenever kids are coming home, our kids who've lived in our house and have no judgment of us, my wife feels the need to remodel everything. So we're like, I think we bought curtains and all the stuff we haven't done in our house that we need to do for Tucker coming home. And Tucker is the sweetest kid. There's no judgment in him.
Tuck, goose.
Tuck,
He don't
goose.
care about no curtain.
No, Tucky Bear's a good boy. He's a good boy. So that's going on in my house. And I've decided.
Why don't you just get him like a sex swing for the bedroom? I mean, just if you're going to remodel, just embrace it, Mark. That's what they're going to be doing. Do you think they actually do it while they're there at your house, or they just kind of lay off for a couple days? What's your take?
First of all, thanks for painting a
That's
vision
never going to leave your
on
brain.
my retina.
That'll be the last vision you see before
That's right.
you die.
I'm good. Right before I die, you're going to see me go, ugh.
Sex swing.
Yeah, sex swing.
So do you think they're going to lay off, or do you think they're actually going to knock it out while they're there in your home, under your roof?
I have to assume they will.
Look at that face.
I'm so
I feel
nauseous
this. It's
right now.
like, I don't even feel right asking these
I
questions.
mean, my son's married, and they stay to my house.
Well, that's different, though. In
Yeah, but
theory.
it's still weird.
Right.
I'm
I'm gonna ask Morgan if he does
Yeah.
in your house.
Yeah. Yeah, and he'll
I think
answer.
I got some phone calls to make. After this is over.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so they're not
Let
coming.
me ask you another question.
Go ahead.
You and Robbie,
Okay.
if the kids are in the house,
Yeah. Yeah. Almost defiantly. Not even. It's like
tears or no tears?
for me.
Yeah.
Always tears. I always feel dirty and sad afterwards. Mostly, I'm crying over the poor
Spilled milk.
performance.
It's a 4.2 from the Russian judge.
Yeah. It was the most mediocre 8 minutes of her life. And when I say 8,
That includes going to the kitchen.
that includes lighting the candles because I like it to be more
You
lovemaking.
got to set the mood.
Yeah, I want it to be,
Dimming the sound on ESPN.
yes. Yeah. Oof. So Thanksgiving's
Because you
coming.
can probably get a sex swing on Amazon. You just have to make sure it's installed correctly.
Yeah, you can't get them on Temu.
No, you can't.
That's how you end up in the hospital.
Right.
Yeah,
Actually, that's all I
that's how you hurt your shoulder. It was the Temu sex swing. Yeah.
I wanted to save $40, and this is what it got me.
What was it? Re-engineered child swing that you had to crank.
The one exactly.
Hold on, honey. Hold on.
Yeah. No, didn't work out.
No. Thanksgiving's coming, or may have already happened by the time we drop this episode.
We don't know.
We don't know. And we are doing things differently this year.
We are?
Normally, we go up to my brother-in-law's house, which I have complained about for years, not because I don't love him, but it's a gigantic Thanksgiving dinner, like 35 people. And first of all, they put no seasoning in any of the food. They don't like spicy. So that's a problem. They also don't sit down to eat till close to 8 o'clock at night.
No. On Thanksgiving?
I think.
And what time do you show up?
Well, they demand us to be there at 6:30. And it's okay. No, that part's okay. It's just to me. And I would really love to hear your take on this to support me in this. But I feel like the latest you should be doing a Thanksgiving feast is like 4 o'clock.
That's ideal, because then you have
Right.
there's time to sit around,
Should
loosen
be
your belt,
eat.
talk, and then maybe do a little second meal around 9. Then,
Right.
then the people go away.
That's right. I agree. So we're not going this year. And rather than trying to cook and do all this stuff, we're going with Carissa's father to his country club and just paying whatever it is and eating whatever's on their buffet at a decent hour. And I feel very good about that.
It's easy.
And it avoids let's go around the table and say what we're thankful for moment.
Not necessarily. They may make you do that at a country club.
Yes, but only be like 6 of us.
I'm thankful there's no Jews here.
Wow. Come on.
I mean, do they know? Are they sneaking you in the back way? Or?
It's a Jewish-centric country club because we had to build our own. We don't play golf, we play dreidel.
Well, it doesn't, I mean, isn't that, someone will, how many people are going to be at this dinner?
So what, should we prepare our answers? Because I wish I had a good one.
I say you improvise something, just something ridiculous.
Yeah. Be thankful for something.
These napkin rings are amazing.
Or something self-absorbed.
Uh-huh.
I'm so thankful that I am
basically perfect
in the top 5% of intellect and beauty. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
And then
don't qualify it.
Yeah.
Just see what the reaction is and watch everybody squirm.
That's what I would do.
All right, very good. What's your Thanksgiving? What are you doing?
What are we doing? The weekend before, we're going to go to a restaurant with family because my brother and sister-in-law are going to be out of town on the actual Thanksgiving Day, which is also our anniversary. And then on Thanksgiving Day, I think we're going to a friend's house for a Friendsgiving.
What do you think?
In the afternoon.
Are you a fan of the traditional Thanksgiving fare?
I don't like the cranberry. Turkey's okay, but people don't know how to cook it, and it comes out real dry. My sister-in-law, Lorena, makes this great sausage stuffing, which is delicious. But then she stopped because she became a vegetarian for like a year, but now she's back. Thank God. That's really good. Yenny makes good picadillo.
That's not a traditional Thanksgiving thing.
No, it's not. No, like Pilgrim Thanksgiving. No, it's too much starch.
I think that's my point, is that we sit down for Thanksgiving and try to gorge ourselves on food we never eat throughout the year and don't particularly want.
Right.
I like a turkey sandwich the next day.
Sure you do.
Who doesn't? Mm-hmm. But I don't enjoy the Thanksgiving feast as the food served at it. I wish we would do like
well, maybe at your Jewy country club, it'll be better food for Thanksgiving.
Well, we can only hope.
What would the typical Jewish Thanksgiving menu be?
We have nothing to be thankful for, but don't worry about us.
Right. Don't worry, we'll be fine.
I'll just eat a cracker. I don't know. I really don't know if there's a traditional Jewish Thanksgiving.
Well, would latkes fall into that?
No,
or
that's a Hanukkah thing.
Corned beef?
I mean, yeah.
What's your go-to family protein?
So that's a problem because as you mentioned earlier, I'm kind of the Southern guy. So, like, for instance, I would love them to do a ham. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for lightning to strike me. So that's my thing. But, I don't. Our palates are so different. What Robbie likes and what I like are impossible to have in the same meal. So I don't know. I think this is going to be great because they'll have, like, prime rib and they'll have, vegetables and some mashed potatoes, and we'll just fucking eat like humans. And
yeah, that'll be fun.
And most importantly, there'll be no stress, and we'll walk away. Then we'll go up to Gary's at like 9:00 and maybe have dessert.
That's a good move.
And that way,
great view up there.
It is a beautiful view in his house that just recently had to be tented. So I helped him with that. That was
You should live in a tent. He's a circus performer.
Yes, it's true. It's so true. He should live in a tent with a red nose on his nose. Yeah. I'd like to live in a tent in the woods and call no one right now. I've fantasized about packing up my car and just.
What's your deal? You're just like you just want to be all by yourself for all of a sudden. What's going on?
I'm kind of going through this period of not having much to say to anybody. I don't know that whatever. You know what it is? I think I'm in a place right now where I'm questioning what I think I know. And I've talked about this quite a bit, but we all have character traits that I don't call them flaws; they're just traits. But one of the traits that I'd like to improve on is the know-it-allness, the mansplainy version of me.
I don't think you're a mansplainer.
My several comments on this podcast would argue differently.
Well, no,
I think I get excited and cut people off.
But you're a facilitator. I think you're very gentle and empathetic, and you see people struggling to get someplace, and you try and help them go there. That's not mansplaining.
But what I'm discovering,
what mansplaining is, Mark.
Yes, could you explain it to me? I love you. I really do. I think what I'm exploring is the concept of no good deed goes unpunished. So my heart's always in the right place. Something's happening. I feel it. I feel the discord or dissonance. I want to insert myself as a communicator to say, hey, what she really meant was this, and what you're really not hearing is this. But this goes under the heading of jobs I wasn't hired to do. Like, nobody asked me to fix that problem. And the thing that I'm looking at is how often do I insert myself in situations that it's not my thing. It's what I'm witnessing that I think I can help, that no one asked me to help. I can just let them be upset.
How often? All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
But it's coming from a good. It's not.
Like,
I don't
I'm
find
concerned
it
about you and
irritating.
Kaylin right now.
I don't. I think it's coming from a good place. It doesn't irritate me, but you've always done that.
Well,
and you know what? You have a lot of interesting perspectives that me personally I don't have. You'll say stuff to me, and I'll be like, "Oh, I never thought of it that way."
same.
Right.
You are that for me. I am that for you. Cuckoo, cuckoo. But I think what I'm looking at is growing up to the point of creating some boundaries for myself, because what I'm finding is I'll do something, my heart's in the right place, I'll be of service in a way that I think I'm really helping, and I know that I am, and then I'll get slapped for it by others. It's received in a different way. And rather than my knee-jerk reaction is to blame them for receiving whatever it is I was giving and not getting what I was trying to do, is to go, hey, what's my responsibility in that? And nobody asked for my opinion. Nobody needed my help, even if it's going off the... This is like when we were talking about when you're going on a trip with Yenny, and you were saying if she would just listen to this itinerary, it would be better for her, right? And I kept trying, and I'm really good at saying it for you, but not so much for me, is to say, let it go off the rails. So a great example I may have shared is being at a restaurant, and they're all sitting after the meal and talking, and the chairs are going up on tables, and the waitress is getting uptight, and I'm getting uptight for the waitress. But what I'm trying to teach myself is if the waitress has got a problem, the waitress can go up to them and say, hey, you guys need to leave.
But
it's not my job.
But they don't. It's you got to read the room. That's
the thing, is I got to stop reading the room.
No, I think everyone needs to be, again, it goes back to just common courtesy and manners. If you've been sitting at a table for 3 hours and they haven't turned it, and they've made their $100 off your table, whatever, and you're sitting there and chatting, and you see that's how they do it in a restaurant. They'll start putting chairs on tables, and you're supposed to go, oh, sorry, we have to leave. So if you don't pick up that cue, that's on you.
I'm not saying that my perception is wrong. Like, there's a thing.
But some people need to be told that.
But whose job is that?
Well, whoever knows it. If you're the only person that's ever worked in food service at the table, you can go, I think they're ready to go home. It's 9:30. They close at 9.
And then I get accused of being an asshole. And so what I'm trying to get to is having something that I think you have that I don't have, which is to let it be. Just let people stew or have the problem and not take it personally and get all upset and feel I need to insert myself where I'm not asked to. Classic me is, and we've joked about this. We were at Nat's Early Bite. Nat's Early Bite?
No.
Greatest coffee shop in the valley.
The best.
The best.
The best.
The best.
Yeah.
Closes at 2. Get there early.
Oh, like Good Neighbor. Good Neighbor.
Yeah, like Good Neighbor, which is if you're on...
I'm not a breakfast guy.
My favorite meal. But I'm there, and it's packed on a Sunday, and a guy starts having like a heart episode. And there's a way
like
to run...
the band? He starts jamming?
Exactly. They were singing, a lot
ding,
of...
ding, 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 ding.
He was yelling, go crazy on me, and I didn't realize it was a song. And I thought
I got off of him, and I got his number.
I went crazy. Yes. No, he was having a heart situation. And the waiter's going, is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? And in that moment, Robbie, knowing me, said, no, don't. And I waited a second. No one stopped eating or got up. The guy is turning blue and falls out of his chair. Right? I'm a game show host. I have no medical training, but like you, we are very commonsensical, and we put together things, and we know some stuff. And so I got up immediately and went over to the guy and kind of took over the situation. I'm laughing, telling it now. It's like, who do you think you are? But no one did, and I couldn't be okay with it. So
Again, people don't have manners anymore.
So now I jump over to the guy, and I'm doing what I saw on like ER or something. I'm going
ADR?
Yeah, I'm doing ADR. They looped it later. I sounded actually like Antonio Banderas. I don't know who they hired for the loop. I say to the guy, stay with me. What's your name? Where are you from? Because I had seen that it just keep a conversation going while the paramedics are there. And then the waiter says, I've got a doctor on the phone, and people are talking. It's now a hubbub. And I literally stand up and I say, everybody sit down and be quiet. You ask me questions, I'll give you answers to the guy on the phone. And I kind of handle the whole situation. The guy has his episode. It passes. I'm holding his hand. I'm getting him through it. He stays lucid. He's pretty much okay by the time the paramedics get there. And I basically say, you guys can clean it up. I'm pretty much handle my business here. But
do they comp your meal?
They thanked me, but no, they did not comp my meal. No. They also didn't do it when I did the same thing at The Good Neighbor for different reasons.
So you've masqueraded as a doctor at every breakfast place in the Valley?
My kids call me Jewish Starman, which is my alter ego as a superhero that no one's asked me to do, who cruises through the valley in a broken down Volvo whenever there's a problem. We're at The Good Neighbor, and everybody's eating. It's packed. It's a Sunday as well. And these young hipsters are eating, and they dine and dash.
Ooh.
And at that point, we were going quite a bit, so I kind of knew the owner a little bit, and I saw it, and you see the waiter going, oh, my God, they stiffed us, and they ran out, and they jumped in their car, and they went up the wrong road, which is a dead end.
Oh, right, they have to come back.
I know. So I ran out of the restaurant, stopped the car, reached in the car, got the guy out of the car, made him pay his meal before he left. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that's the kind of shit that used to get you laid back in the day.
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing. Wow. I saved a woman's life at an Antiques Roadshow event, and it got no press. And then I couldn't say, hey, could you release this to the press? Because she was choking, and no one did anything. And I watched her choke. And so I went over and did a Heimlich to her. And funniest moment, though, is that she's an older lady. I do the Heimlich. She finally clears it. She's okay. And her eyes are running, and I'm holding her by the shoulders. And I said, I need you to talk. I need to hear, because I had read somewhere that if they can talk or make any sound, they're not choking. I'm like, do you know where you are? Do you know who you are? And she looks at me. She goes, I know who you are. So then afterwards, I'm a little shook, and I go over to the publicist who's standing right there. And I said, well, I just got you the Today Show. Host of Antiques Roadshow, save someone at an Antiques Roadshow event. And she laughed. She said, yeah, well, we're never going to. And, but I now know that there's a multimillionaire PBS donor who's alive today. Mm-hmm. So we are all better because of the work.
Mark, you step into the breach. That's what we all should do.
What I'm trying to do is let the breach happen.
No, step into the breach and then disregard if there's negative feedback. Just don't care. That's the difference. Don't stop doing. That guy might have been dead. She might have. You know what I mean?
No.
Do what you do, and if some people are going to snark, people are always going to snark about everything because in the social media world that we sadly live in today,
yes,
everyone, all they want is attention. And the easiest way to get attention is to stand up and say, oh, that sucks. That's that.
If I'd only,
I'm insulted.
If I only live streamed it as it was happening,
you should be more prepared.
Yeah, I think that's the answer.
You know what? Maybe get a police scanner so that as things are happening around town, you can get there before
self-imposed neighborhood watch.
Right.
Yeah. Be that guy.
Just every night at 10 o'clock. Everything all right in there?
Yeah, just checking.
All right. Is that a sex swing?
Be careful. My friend lost his shoulder on that thing. I'm, work in progress, kids.
But that's life. You shouldn't, don't expect it to be over until it's over. People that stop learning and stop changing end up miserable and unhappy. You have to keep questing, keep trying to refine. One of my favorite quotes, and I say this when I'm speaking, someone asked Michelangelo once, how out of this giant block of marble did you make the David? And he goes, it was simple. I just took away everything that wasn't the David.
I love that you speak in the accent of pretentious Michelangelo.
Well, at that point in his career, he had done everything.
Yeah, yeah, but Michelangelo?
Michelangelo.
I know that's
the Pope
correct.
eating out of my hand.
Yeah.
And just think about it. It was that it was there. He just moved everything out of the way that wasn't necessary.
I see.
And that's what life is.
So maybe what I need to move out is not the action that I do from a good place, but the feelings I have afterwards.
Isn't that what I just said like 2 minutes ago? Didn't I literally just say that? Wow. Do you watch these shows?
No.
Maybe that's the
That's a problem.
yeah. Because unless you're doing jackass shit, you're saving people's lives. If someone has a problem with it,
people's lives.
yeah, well, you may have, you don't know.
Yeah.
If someone has a problem with it, who gives a shit? Who are they? You're never going to see them again.
Yeah.
That's why I love going. One of my favorite things to do, especially I've been traveling a lot with my brothers these last couple of years because one nephew is playing hockey in Colorado Springs and the other is playing baseball in Seattle. So a couple times a year, 3 of us will go and we'll do a weekend and go watch sports.
D1 collegiate athletes.
Yeah, D1, both of them. And so we'll be traveling together, and I love going into an airport bathroom and closing the stall and then screaming like the devil's coming.
You do that when I'm in.
And then you just come out of the stall, wash your hands, and walk out.
This says, okay, let's go here.
And if my brother's
because this
in
is
the
the
next
thing about
toilet
you.
stall, I hear them laughing, and it makes me laugh.
Well, this is the thing about you that's funny as hell, and I know it's sport for you to watch me squirm.
It is.
But this speaks to what we're saying is that you will do those jokes and you don't give a fuck what people think of you. It's the funny.
Right.
I love it that every time we go in the bathroom together, which is already uncomfortable, you'll be in a stall and you'll yell something like, is there supposed to be blood? And you're not embarrassed, but I am for you.
That's the key, not being embarrassed.
Yeah, I don't know how that
You're never
works.
going to see any. What are the odds that you're going to know somebody in that bathroom and going to go, oh, who cares? Literally, who cares? I'm screaming in a public bathroom. Yes, because I'm bored. I'm just enjoying the day.
I think that's something to uncover is why do you feel that that's the place where you must do your comedy?
Mark, we're entertainers.
That's
and
right.
I think my job is to keep myself entertained so that I can entertain others.
So you're doing a service
I am.
for the world.
I mean, why not? What's the downside of doing that? There is no downside.
No, I guess
Right?
not.
I mean, seriously, what is the downside of goofing off in an airport bathroom? Zero.
Okay.
And you know what? Somebody's going to be telling their friend, oh, my God.
Didn't you have some incident at the Cubs game at the big pee trough?
Yeah.
Is that something we can talk about?
We can. If people know, back in the day, they used to have these big porcelain pee troughs at the
Sporting
space side urinals at Wrigley Field. One big, long, 40-foot trough. And I've seen... I was there once, and a guy was drunk off his ass, and he goes, get out of the way! And he ends up at one end, takes a running leap, and dives into the urinal like he's on a slip and slide all the way to the other side.
I can't.
Gets out. Now, that's gross.
Yeah. But funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
That's crossing your line, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. But one time I was at Wrigley Field with my friend Nia, and it was her birthday, and I'm pissing in that bathroom, and I just said, I have my phone on. I'm like, hey, guys, it's my friend's birthday. Let's sing her happy birthday. And everyone taking a piss at Wrigley Field saying happy birthday. You sent her the video.
You do stuff all the time that's really funny and makes me go crazy. When I was doing Temptation Island, which was a show I used to host.
Right.
By the way, I taped a new season of a show.
Did you really?
I did. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but I just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, when Temptation Island was out the first time, it was a pretty big deal.
Yes.
Your favorite thing to do is when we would go to a bar, we'd be hanging out at the bar, you'd be next to a drunk asshole, the guy you don't want to talk to, and you'd go, hey, you ever seen that show Temptation Island? What do you think of the host? He said, oh, that guy's a dick. Yeah, well, what don't you like about him the most? That's your favorite thing to do.
Well, you would do that to me, too.
I would not. I do it out of like retaliation, but then when I do it, there's just this seed of like real bad anger.
But again, we live in a special circumstance. People that we don't know us.
Yes.
So if there's a way to wring a little fun out of that, why not?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if you were Bruce Springsteen and you pull up at a red light and somebody's blaring Born to Run next to you, what do? I think if you're Bruce, you're like, if you're a jerk, you don't.
Right. Yeah, I guess. But
One time I was doing gardening in my front yard and the Katie Lang and Tony Bennett record was on, blasting. And a Land Rover comes up, stops in front of my house. I look in the car and I'm like, that's Katie Lang. And she, nothing. No, like, hey, and just stared at me and drove away.
Yeah. That's not right.
That's not right.
No. So I think the bottom line is fuck Katie Lang. Yeah.
Well, you gotta play the cards that you dealt with as much panache as you possibly can.
I think hanging out with you is good aversion therapy for me to sit in the... It also speaks to your brilliance as an improviser. And this is the thing about...
Go on.
Go on. Don't let me stop you. Well, and the thing I admire most about the circle of friends that you have allowed me access to, that are now my friends through you. I'm more audience, but still, what I love about them is that, and you in this, is that improv means that you're going to take swings that are... That's Robbie. Should we answer? Yeah. Okay, let's see what's up with her. It's usually Gary pocket dialing me. Hi, honey. I'm with Mark taping the show right now.
We're on the air, Rob.
Okay. Did we buy something new for the house? Is that what you're calling me to tell me about?
Put her on speakerphone.
Hold on.
Robbie.
Mark's asking you a question.
Robbie. Yes. I hear you're sprucing up the house for the holidays. Yeah. Mark said he wants to get a sex swing for Goldie's room. Is it?
Do you think? Here's the.
No.
We do. We have a swing in the living room.
No, I'm talking a sex swing specifically for Goldie's room.
The question was, Robbie, do you think? Yes. No. Don't worry, honey. You've seen my subscription list.
Yes.
You're okay.
6 people in America are going to be really scandalized.
And we're an hour in. They tuned out a half an hour ago.
They're gone.
Yeah. Do you think Tucker and Goldie have sex while they're in our house?
Well, you know what? This is going to be the first time that they're both in our house. So, well, all I can say is in the movie Family Stone, Sarah Jessica Parker didn't think it was appropriate. So, I don't know about Goldie.
Yeah, but wasn't she the bad guy in that movie?
Does Robbie think it's appropriate?
Do you think it's appropriate?
Do I?
Yeah.
I must admit, it's kind of kinky to have sex in your childhood bedroom. I don't know.
You are a dirty, dirty girl.
I said I think it's kind of kinky.
I heard all the words.
I never did it.
No, but when we were dating and we were staying at your mother's house and they made us sleep in your grandma Bubby's bed with pictures of like the ghost of her in there, and you wanted to have sex and I just couldn't do it. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'm hanging up.
All right, goodbye.
I feel trapped. I feel set out.
That's how you're going to feel in the sex swing. It's all right.
I love you all.
Just remember the safe word and we'll be okay.
Hot Pockets.
The safe word is Mark DeCarlo. Goodbye. Bye. All right, I think maybe that's a good place to end.
I think so.
Yeah, all right. So, kids, if you're home with your parents, bang it out. I think that's the takeaway, right?
Word to your mama.
Word to your mama. Mark DeCarlo, thank you for being here.
Mark Wahlberg, thank you for doing this for America.
For America. And know that if you're in a restaurant with me and you choke, I got you. Right. I got you.
And you could win valuable prizes.
Cash and prizes. That's right. This show brought to you by the DeCarlo 5000 at retails throughout the United States.
You can get it at usahockey.com.
Yes. All right. Goodbye. Thank you. Love you all. Send us stuff. Goodbye.